Welcome back. This is Lee and Alison from the Law School Toolbox, and today we're talking about how on earth you should organize your time and stay focused in law school. So once you decide kind of the landscape of all the things that you have to do, what are the best kind of calendaring or task management systems that you can consider using in law school?
Again, I think this is very individual. People have strong preferences one way or the other on different tools for no real reason. All of the tools are probably fine. There are a ton of digital management systems out there at this point. I personally have always liked Trello. People like Notion. There's Asana that we use but don't really like. There are a lot of options. And again, I think if something has worked for you in the past, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel, whether it's a paper system or an electronic system. I live and die by my Google Calendar. And what I like about that is other people can get access to pieces of it, or we can share calendars. You can share things with me. The reality is it doesn't really matter what system you use as long as you have a system.
Yes. I know. I also now live and die by my Google Calendar, even though I used to be a paper calendar diehard.
Oh, same.
But
yeah,
I used to. There are really cool ways that you can set it up for yourself with law school. I mean, you could really geek out on this, but you could have one calendar that's just your classes, and then you could have another calendar that, is your kind of other study time. And then you could have a shared calendar with like family commitments or whatever it might be, or study group or things like that. But you can share things with people. You can change your own views, the way you view your calendar. It's just so helpful. So I also think it's great with Google Calendar because you can put in so easily all of those dates for the entire semester and really look ahead. So no matter what system you do, I think setting aside some time to put in the entire semester's worth of dates, like when are reading days, when are the final exams, what are any days off from school, there are holidays, like all of that kind of stuff, like make sure everything is in the calendar, due dates for things. You never want to be surprised by a date. It takes 2 seconds to put it on your calendar.
Right, exactly. Like the second a call is scheduled for anything or a meeting or a doctor's appointment, just put it in the calendar.
Yes.
Like maybe they're going to later send you a meeting invite. That's great. If they do, you can update it. But the second you get that scheduled, put it on the calendar.
Yes.
And, I think also recurring events are really useful for things like deep work. If you decide that, okay, I'm committing that every Saturday morning is going to be the time that I'm going to do a minimum 4 hours of deep work, just put that on the calendar as a recurring event. And then you're much more likely to do it than when you Friday night are like, oh, I don't really feel like getting up tomorrow. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Or you just forget entirely.
Right. Or then you can move it. I have a work on LinkedIn is one of my recurring things on the calendar. I don't always do it at the time or at all, but at the time that I'm supposed to do it. But oftentimes I will move it and say no, I have like time sensitive work that needs to be done, but maybe I'll do it on Wednesday instead. And so even if it's there and it gets moved, it's still better than it not being there at all.
Right, which is what I did when we talked about thinking about LinkedIn. And have I looked at LinkedIn and since? Probably not. So if I had it as a movable event, I would at least think to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think like blocking out time, trying to move your schedule around, probably like setting up something for yourself where you audit your schedule for the week. I think that it's a really great habit on Sundays to take some time and look ahead at the week. Especially, I'll use my own personal week as an example. It is May when we are recording this. If you have children, it's called the 1,000 Days of May because it is insane how much stuff is on the calendar. And I looked at my calendar not realizing I had committed to things Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. Okay, that's not how I run my life. I do not like to go out 5 nights in a row. That is too many things. And then I kind of went like, okay, one, I did not look ahead at my calendar when I started saying yes to things. Ironically, I've been saying no to things, but clearly not enough things. And now I have to go through and decide what I'm not going to do because I'm not going to 5 events in a row this week. That is impractical for my life. So, or by the time the important event is on Saturday night and I don't want to be a zombie at that event. So I do think it's important to take stock. I did do that on Sunday and went like, uh-oh. So now I can, so then I made some choices and I decided, what was most important that I do. But if I hadn't done that, I could have been surprised on Wednesday when my calendar told me I was supposed to be dressed up to go to some event at 6 o'clock, and I was still wearing my tennis clothes and not at all ready to go to some fancy event, or maybe hadn't even had childcare. So,
Yeah, exactly. I think this habit of sort of looking ahead, thinking through what's realistic, and then, kind of making sure that you're not missing things. For me, every night before I go to bed, I look at my calendar and I set an alarm 10 minutes before every single event on the calendar. And I cannot tell you how many times that alarm has gone off. And I'm like, what is this annoying alarm going off for? And then I look at my calendar. I'm like, oh, because in 10 minutes, I have a call. So that has saved me so many times. And I highly recommend employing it as a practice of everyone.
Yeah. You can also sit down, especially once you get your calendar for the semester, when you get your syllabi, and look for due dates for things. I think that that's another great thing to think about. It's like, if you know that, October 15th is some sort of due date for a legal memo and you're not sure like when exactly that starts, I might put on my calendar 2 weeks before, note the memo is coming up in 2 weeks.
Right,
I think
exactly.
you can give yourself these like alarms, right? You can schedule an email to go to yourself to remind yourself to put that on your radar. I think looking ahead and creating some time, structure for yourself so you get a heads up when things are coming also makes a lot of sense. So investing in your calendaring time and giving yourself the gift of doing it on a regular basis is going to set you up for success. And just pick a scheme and try and stick with it. I think you don't want to be constantly trying new time management schemes during the semester. Maybe a new semester is a great time to try something new, but just commit to something and try it for a while and see if you can create some habits.
Yeah. And I think, you need a basic calendar, and then you need some way to manage your tasks. And that might be by writing lists. It might be by having some sort of app. There are lots of different ways, but those are kind of the big buckets of management, is like, what's happening at a certain day or time, and then what do I need to get done in this particular day?
Yeah. And if you don't have a great system for that, there are a million of them. You should start trying them as soon as you can.
Yeah. And it might be a combo. Maybe you make, it can literally be something as simple as like bullet point notes on your phone. And then you also have a paper version and you kind of compare them occasionally. It doesn't have to be super complicated.
No, I love a good notes app on my iPhone. That is just how I run a lot of my life.
And you can share those with people too, in case you need to.
Shared note.
Life
the shared
changing.
Note. My whole world is run off of shared notes and Trello. It's really amazing. And I still use a paper to-do list on top of that, because I still like to cross things off for the dopamine hit that you get crossing it off.
So don't overcomplicate this, but you do need something to help you stay organized and have a calendar.
Yeah.
Well, if you enjoyed this video, please take a second to give us a like and leave a comment, and be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any future content. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us via the contact form on lawschooltoolbox.com, or you can take a look at our Start Law School Right course.